Hey guys, Mark with Precision Computing. RepPerformancePCs.com. Hank and all the guys over there, go check them out for all of your custom computer modification needs, water cooling, anything that you might need to buy. They have quick shipping, great shipping. If you're on the West Coast, might be a little slow, but they still have all the parts that you need, so you're going to go there and buy from them anyway. Working on a TT arcade, doing some late Saturday night modding. We got a week or so to the deadline. That may or may not be extended. Really not sure at this point. A couple of little hang-ups. Not a big deal. Either way, all the guys are cool. No worries if there's some slowdowns. I mean, the middle of this was Computex, so we're just working away, doing our modding, and if anything, if they extend the deadline, it gives us some more time to do some more cool stuff. So if you can see down underneath here, I've actually painted the clouds and the hills in the bottom of the arcade. To fill out the Mario scene, I have to do some edge, some final detail work on those. So then when the tower is in there, I'm going to have lights above so it lights everything up. Looks really cool, fills the complete Mario from Nintendo NES scene out down there. That goes along with the graphics and everything that are on the tower itself, or on the cabinet on the arcade machine. I have my controllers here for the NES system. That's going to be mounted in the back. You can see I've kind of done a cross pattern with my tape to get a center mark and get a center line. So there's a little bit of cabinet left beneath the controller, which you don't really need because you're going to use it like this. It's not like a keyboard where you're going to be resting your hands down. So anyways, something cool possibly is going to go up in here. Won't wait to reveal that until later on. Of course, we're going to have a keyboard and mouse tray that slides out from underneath here, so you'll also be able to do some PC gaming. So I'm actually working on that. I have it cut out. I just have to figure out the mounting so I can get the tray out far enough so you can actually use it past our little tray for our controllers here. And then, of course, working on the Tower 900. We're going to walk over there in a second. The monitor's all set. Nothing is firm mounted. So, the monitor is just, the arm is just holding it right in place where it needs to be. I'm going to probably do some kind of strap system just to hold it. Same with the speakers. They're just setting down into the holes. I don't want to push them because I'll push them right out. So I'm going to do a strap system on those too. But really cool. The whole thing's on wheels. Rolls around real nice. I have some stop wheels in the back so I can actually lock it in place so it won't move around. I want to talk a little bit about the finish on the wood. So what I did was I stained it and I let that set in. And then I used a polyurethane. When I put the polyurethane on, I used a gloss because I wanted that shiny finish, and I wanted to take one more step to finish to protect the wood and make the surface really nice. So after the gloss polyurethane, I came back with a wood wax. Let me grab that and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. And here is my secret tip to you guys. Okay, because this thing is like super smooth finish. Okay, it's really exceptional all the way around, perfectly smooth. You're never gonna get a splinter, and this has polyurethane on it, but it's not so thick that you can't, chip the wood or something. But you're never gonna get a splinter. The way that everything was sanded and then finished. So what I do is this actually helps seal the wood. So polyurethane or something like that is always recommended because that actually seals the wood to prevent against, if this was a flat surface and you set a drink cup on here and it left a ring, the polyurethane is going to protect against that. The paste wax, the wood wax, over just a stained finish won't protect against those things. The water can still soak into the wood because it doesn't have that clear hard finish over the top of the wood to seal that grain. But what this paste wax does, and I use a fine number 0000, the finest steel wool that you can get, and then the paste wax. And I use a dark wax so that it complements the stain and the polyurethane as I'm working on it. And I take the steel wool and I actually scoop the wax out with it and I apply it to the wood. And I rub it all over the entire surface. And so what you get when you're finished is it not only makes that surface sheen uniform, so that you don't have a higher gloss in certain places and maybe a lower gloss in certain places where the wood's soaked in somewhere, that polyurethane. And I mean, I put 3 coats on, but it's still wood. It's still very, very porous, so it's still going to absorb, especially like on the edges here, where the grain is very open. It's going to absorb more stain and more polyurethane than in other places. So, the paste finishing wax and the finest steel wool available gives you that finish that I'm gonna walk the camera over by the arcade here. Now you can it still has a nice shine. If I can get, you see it still has a nice shine, and you can even see here where the grain is open more in some areas and not. I mean, now I could have sat here and put probably 20 coats of polyurethane on it and got it totally sealed in, but I don't see the need for that. I like the wood to take on its own form. I like the polyurethane to seal, but yet at the same point in time, you hear this? Super smooth. I polyurethane right over the decals so they're all sealed on. The surface is super smooth. So that wax gives it that ultimate, it's almost like waxing your car. It gives it that ultimate finish. So that when you're all done, especially because this is gonna be used, you know, you're gonna have people standing at these joysticks here using this. You're gonna have people right here, you're gonna have people leaning on it. There's no way that they're going to get any kind of splinter or anything like that from the wood. That wax just gives it that ultimate smooth finish. It takes a little bit of the sheen, a little bit of the gloss from the high gloss polyurethane off, but that's okay because I didn't want this super gloss. I don't like wood to be super glossy. I think it needs to just take on its own shape, its own form. That's what it's made to do, and I think it looks exceptional. It looks super rich, and it does its own thing. There's knots that are going to take more stain. They're going to take more urethane in, so they're going to look less shiny than other places. It's what makes wood so cool. So, with that being said, I'm going to get these controllers mounted. There's, going to be no cables. Right now, the cables just flopped over the side here as I was laying everything out. There's going to be no cables visible. All the wires will be run underneath. Same within the back. The computer will be down there. I'm actually going to have a power strip mounted inside the bottom of the cabinet so that everything can plug into the power strip. And then there will just be one cord coming out that plugs right into the wall, so that we have everything powered off the same cord, and I don't have 12 cords coming out of this thing running everything. The speakers are integrated into the back, same with the subwoofer. That's all going to be mounted, same with the mini NES. That's all going to be back there. You're never even going to see any of it. I'll clean up the wiring a little bit. The fans here, the Ring Plus fans, these are running down through the case so that they can plug into the computer power supply to get their power so I can program everything. I'm not sure the tone I'm going to leave these, but with the theme of the computer, I'm going to use a lot of white LEDs down at the bottom this time with the LEDs. It's not going to be RGB because I want to showcase everything that I'm doing. I don't want it to be multicolor. I want it to be white so it shows everything off. And then there will be one other color scheme, which I'm saving to show you guys later. So, we took enough look at the cabinet. Let's move over here and take a look at the Tower 900 and see what we have going on here. So, as we can see, let's take a quick tour around here. What I've actually done is I've utilized this front piece of the Tower 900 that's usually up here in the center, and I'm moving it to the back. The power supply is going to be mounted inside there. There's going to be cables from the power supply that come out of here and feed up into our cable ties here. So you'll see a little bit of cable work, but they'll all be sleeved and nice and neat. We have our 3 tubes here, of course, for our pump and reservoir combos. Holes in the back where the tubing and the power comes through. I'm actually going to cut this one down so it's a little bit shorter. I like, through Mario, there's different height pipes throughout the whole thing. So I'm going to cut that one down, and then I'm actually going to cut this probably to about here and get it up to the top of the case, because this guy is going to be hanging down. And I want it just to focus more on that. Then this pipe is it's hanging down too much. It's blocking too much of the motherboard. The graphics card's going to be over here. So that's next on the agenda that I'm actually going to be doing in a few minutes here. Then the next step is getting all of those finished, getting all the tubes painted green so they match the Mario theme. Once that's done, like you can see this one right now, if this looks a little bit crooked, like it's going to the left a little here, it's because the bottom cut isn't perfect. So I have my grinder right over here that I'm gonna set up so I can get those all ground so they'll be perfectly parallel with the bottom plate that I put on here. This is just a 3/16 or 1/4 inch piece of clear acrylic so that you'll be able to see the floor that I created in the bottom of the cabinet through the bottom. So it'll give you the look of the Mario floor from NES underneath these pipes, underneath everything that ties in to also what's up above in the cabinet and the decals and everything else. So we're tying not just the cabinet into the mod, but the mod back up into the cabinet and almost making them like one uniform mod. These are all going to be sealed. Like I gotta knock these little knobs off here. The best way to do this was plumbing pipe, 3.5 inch plumbing pipe. I had to widen out the inside of these tubes so that I could get the, that wasn't smart, so that I could get the pump reservoir combo down in here. And it's actually a snug fit. I made it so that this sits, so it doesn't need feet or anything. And then this is gonna be securely mounted to this bottom base. So this pump combo just floats because of how I sanded the inside of here. So here we can see our fitting that'll go right out of the back here, and then I had to come down pretty low to get the wires back out because otherwise it was way too snug inside there. So you'll never see this. It's spun around in the back like that. Even if you look at it from the side, you can't see it, or you may be able to a little bit if you come from back on this angle, but I really don't think that it's that important to see that from the back because it was necessary to cut it out to be able to run the tubing out. The next bit up here, it's gonna look like a dual loop system, one for CPU, one for GPU, radiators on either side. They're gonna be push-pull with fans so that I get lights all inside the back of here glowing, lights that'll glow out here inside the cabinet, LED lights inside the cabinet glowing down, LED lights inside here glowing down. So the whole bottom half of the cabinet will be very lit up. But it's actually gonna be one continuous loop. And here they're gonna tie together. And I'm gonna have some angled fittings that kind of come up into this little neat thing here that's gonna come up into one tube. This is actually gonna move over here. This is just a temporary mount. And the tube is gonna run up the center of the case and be my fill port up here. So there's more to that, but that's all I'm gonna reveal about that for now. So with that being said, I don't have too much left to do, just a little bit, but still a lot of work to be done. You can see I kind of got a mess going on. A bunch of other projects that I'm working on too, and with work I'm going non-stop. So everything is looking great. I love how the theme is coming together. The cabinet is almost perfect, or almost complete, I should say. So just a few minor detail touches up on that, especially with the artwork down in the bottom. Let's see, I'll zoom in on that one more time for you. Especially with this down here. Oops. Because I have to do the outline and stuff like that to finish that stuff off. So, with that being said, this is, I don't know what video log this is. I kind of lost track because while we were waiting for some parts and things, there wasn't a whole lot that I could do. So I was kind of spinning my wheels for a couple of weeks there with the mod, just trying to prepare for when everything got here so I could knock it out. Video log, it's got to be 6 or 7 already. Go check out the other ones, previous ones. If you have any questions on how I did any of this stuff, let me know. The holes here were made with a 4.5 inch hole saw. I actually mounted, I was initially thinking I was going to have to screw the fans in, bolt them in from the front or something, and I was going to put a cover over it, but then I decided I don't want to put a cover over it. I screwed them in from the back so they look seamless. Same with the rest of this, so that there's no screws holding any of this in place. It just kind of looks like it's all floating. And the screws that hold the cabinet, I tried to keep the front clean so there were no screws, so when you're standing in it you don't notice it. And all the screws that hold everything together are on the sides. The top piece will come off so that if it needed to be shipped somewhere, it could ship in 2 sizable boxes, but not one super tall box. So I designed that so that if it needs to go to a trade show or something like that, it can, maybe CES. In the meantime, I'm gonna get back to modding. Thanks for tuning in. Go check out the other videos if you want to see the processes and how everything else was done. Till the next video, mod on.